Hello, I'm gonna make another video here. Um, had some time, so just kind of want to do an outside video a little bit today. Um, Outside in the daytime, I should say. But anywho, it is starting to rain, so I just kind of went ahead and sat down in a spot and just gonna try to make this work. Probably a short one, we'll see. I wanted to be more in the woods. I mean, we live in the woods, but a little bit deeper or something. Just kind of sit down in a creek bed on our property here. It's about the only decent spot I could find. Played around with a couple others. I'm underneath the cedar trees, so it's kind of growing out like that a little bit. So hopefully block a little bit of the rain. Now, I guess the thing I kind of want to talk about today, just a little bit more personal on some stuff. Also a walnut tree nearby. But I know the channel's kind of been like a thing where I've kind of had my ups and downs, kind of going through everything. Is more or less going to start it out as kind of me just wanting to talk about like, some different ideas and stuff like that that people can possibly do to try to, escape just generic reality or whatever you want to call it, like your day-to-day life and stuff. Kind of branched off and talked about some other things though. A lot of it's just been life updates. Kind of been going on this journey of everything here. So anyways, you guys see me in my ups and downs. I did private a couple videos where I just felt like I was awful. Uh, Again, but do know that having negative emotions and stuff throughout a big life-changing event is normal. So if anybody has any of those, uh, don't worry about it. It happens to everybody, seriously. So, and rain's kind of pick it up, but yeah. So just don't let any of that kind of discourage anybody from doing what you're doing. Because in all honesty, um, since the fact that I've left my current job, or just day job, I should say, and started pursuing my personal business, yeah, I'm kind of on a bit of a time constraint, but I did have some money saved up and stuff. Damn, got my headphones over there, spider crawling in them. But realistically, financially, things have not changed that much. Just stop blowing a little bit of money on stuff didn't necessarily need. But it's not a big deal. I mean, I've been here before where just you pay your bills and you buy your groceries and do whatever. I mean, food stamps helped out, and we got some of those back and stuff. But today, you got some things happening again. This here's the day after I recorded the last video, actually. The guy's supposed to come get the full wheeler. We'll see how that goes. That'll be some money. Also, still waiting that in the mail about the unemployment, and I've got to call somebody to get an estimate for some property damage that had happened and stuff as well. And I got to go do all that. So anyways, this coming up week may be very busy. Maybe the busiest fucking week, or may just be the week where we just, well, it'll be regardless because we got Thanksgiving and stuff. But aside from that though, main point, there's going to be highs and lows on any journey, especially if you're doing like a life-changing thing and you're kind of getting out of the monotony of just the everyday normie world or whatever. But just keep strong with it, and have those moments. It's all a part of it. It's okay to have those. Just don't let that get you down. For an extended period of time, it happens. In addition to that, though, what I want to talk about is if you had the ability to just get out and walk around the woods or just nature or whatever, touch some grass, listen to the birds, whatever. If you had the ability to do that, let's try to do that as often as you can. Again, it's all like a legitimate thing. It helps keeps you grounded. And it can just really help energize you and just kind of make you feel more comfortable. At least it does for me, because I do enjoy being out in the woods and stuff. Like I say, I live in them, in a house, obviously, but things like this are just so important to me. And it's good just to stay grounded. And like I say, just being in nature and just kind of healing with it. You know, a lot of times I'll have my headphones. I had them on just because I was up there at the truck a little bit ago. I was sharpening the knife. But I always, 99% of the time, if I've got them with me, I always turn the music off whenever I'm just walking through the woods and stuff, just because I want to hear and be in nature as much as I can. I want to, here's a falling down little cedar tree branch and stuff like that I'm grabbing on now. Like, I just want to touch that. I want to touch, you know, the leaves. I've seen some cool rocks around. I mean, this whole place is covered with rocks and stuff, but here's one I just found, like whatever. Just get out and touch that stuff. You know, talk to the spirits of the forest and stuff if you're a spiritual person. And just let them, just converse with them. It's always cool, I think, to just ask, like, or just, I don't guess necessarily ask, but just mention, hey, I'm gonna be coming out in the woods, hang out with you guys, whatever. Just kind of narrating your experience to the spirits in the forest. And check out my field behind me. That's why we kind of got the clearing. It goes like house property, and it's got this big ass hill. Wife cut a nice trail through the woods and stuff. Then we can step down here into the creek bed. Then you climb up the little wall that's kind of dug out. Then you're in a field. Then you can go back up the woods and hit the top of the mountain and stuff. It's laid out a little odd, but anyways, though, I just kind of like narrate my experience to the forest and stuff, conversing with it, and just kind of sometimes just let it hear me out, you know. If I've got some shit going on, it's always comforting. Let me pick that up here in a minute. Go ahead and smoke one more. Seems like the rain is kind of just staying steady right now, so it ain't bad. Like I say, I'm underneath this cedar tree here, so ain't necessarily hitting too bad. But but things like this always make me feel better. To a greater extent than doing like these little videos and stuff, it's kind of something I felt like I've used this here a little bit as a crutch to kind of, for it to be therapeutic. Like, I'll be having a bad day or something, and I'll come on here, talk it out, and I'll feel better. And sometimes that's why you get some of the videos where I'm feeling more rough or whatever per se. And then by the end of the video, sometimes I'm more chilled out. Like I say, it's therapeutic, but honestly, it's better to just, I'm not the best at explaining all these things. And, but just being out in the woods and kind of speaking it all out, like to the forest and stuff like that, it's like it just cleanses it. Like, the forest to me is kind of like, or the woods, whatever, it's kind of like a big filter. Like, I've thought about that in a lot of different ways, whether if it's something like protecting your aura, magnetic field, whatever, or like just from like harmful things, the atmosphere or whatever, just not even from that standpoint, but like it's like for your soul or whatever, right? Um, so it's pretty important, I think, try to do that as often as you can. I can really tell whenever I go a decent amount of time without actually just coming out by myself in the forest and stuff doing things. Um, I used to go out a lot more. Um, I used to go hunting a lot and not even necessarily hoping to kill something like deer or whatever, but more or less just like it was just a great excuse to just get out in the fucking woods, you know. Not that I needed one like to anybody else, but just to myself, you know. And but you don't need a reason. I mean, just other than just to go out and make yourself feel kind of better, you know. Just see what you can see and touch some things, feel some leaves, you know. It's just always like, it's really cool, and I love it. Originally, I thought about going and doing a video in the cave I was talking about that's close to the property. I'm going to wait on that one because I wanted to do, whenever I go and do that one, I'd prefer for it to not be having a chance of rain because I have to walk a little ways to get to it. Yeah, I could drive and go to it and then still have to get out and walk a little bit or whatever, kind of go through the woods, but I just don't, I don't really like driving to it. I'd rather just walk and kind of enjoy like the entire way, just because it's a little bit more healing. I can probably walk to it in about 15 minutes, but I just don't want to like pour the rain, and then I've got the iPad here making the videos on, have to kind of keep it covered up and try to rush back or something like that. And also, like I say, it's super dark in there, so I'll have to set up like a candle, so I don't want to use just like a phone light or something. Like it just kind of, I don't know, kind of kills the vibe and stuff. And also, I don't know if like a phone light and stuff, I know that like these modern lights like kind of fuck up lightning bugs and stuff. I'm gonna hang my headphones up here. The spider came out of them. But I feel like candlelight would be a lot better and stuff, you know, just because there is some bats in there. They're cute as shit. I've seen them before. Now that everything's kind of died off, it'd be a good time to go up in the, on up to the top of the mountain, kind of show the area where I'm going to eventually build a cabin. You can probably hear my donkey. You can hear him loud down here. But, but it's really cool up there. I'm still kind of waiting on some of this money to come in. I really want to get some new boots. I hate these ones here. They're like these square toe ones and shit. I got shit on the bottom of them, but like they're coming apart. And I got them, like say, for free in my old construction job. They're getting wore the fuck out. They don't have like any grips at all on the bottom of them because they're meant for like stand on concrete and grounding you, or not grounding you, but keeping you from getting shocked or something like that, heat resistant, whatever, right? It's like those type of boots. I need some with some treads on them. I had a pair that was decent, but I just wore them so much. They had like holes all in them, and the soles were coming off, and the bottom of them was just like slicked out. So I'll have to go up there whenever it's not like super wet, because I'm always just falling and shit like that, especially coming back down. I'm always busting my ass. And I always take like a little bag and stuff with me too, because I always find like geodes and stuff. Like I like finding geodes like on the mountain instead of kind of down the creek bed. I mean, I like that too, but down on the mountain it's just a little bit more cool, I think. But yeah, so I've been kind of studying stuff. I mean, I've been looking into things for a good decade of my life, but really started practicing on the left-hand path, occult, spirituality, things like that, the past couple years. And I feel like I'm still such a beginner on everything. It's crazy, but like I've always had an interest in stuff, but I didn't really realize that these things were possible, or like it was a thing that could actually be done, and it wasn't like just delusions or whatever. I've always like cool dark stuff, but like I say though, I'd like to start making some more videos kind of talking about some of that stuff. But it's one of those things, and I've talked about this with my wife and stuff before with different things, right? Is you get to a point where you've just studied and studied and studied, or you've learned, and you never think you're going to be good enough to do things, achieve things, make shit happen. Kind of like how we want to make some music and stuff, right? But at the same point, if you never do it, you're never going to break like that certain threshold before you can kind of go on, right? That's the way I look at it, right? I remember this conversation we had. It's probably been a year or two, but I still remember it. It's like, you know, we watch anime basically every day. We love it and have for years and years and years, right? But with that being said, we was having a discussion like, at what point did we become like so well versed in anime that we feel like we could give recommendations or discuss it or talk about it or whatever, right? And it just kind of happened naturally because we're just a part of it and into it all the time, right? And because we got some people in our life that kind of fuck with it a little bit, but not a whole lot. And like we talked about how we felt like we were well versed enough to again be able to give out recommendations, talk about it, feel like we know a lot about it, and it just kind of happened naturally over time. We didn't really think about it because it was just a thing that we were doing for ourselves, and we weren't making like any videos online or really talking about it to people in our day-to-day lives and stuff, so it didn't necessarily matter. Now where, you know, she's making some more TikToks and stuff like that, I've made a couple here and there, mostly doing the YouTube thing. It's kind of like we want to talk about things that we really enjoy and we really like, and we don't feel like we have to. Got a car coming. Of course, they can't see me down here or anything, but obviously you're not going to make, you're not going to know as much as the next guy, but you're going to know as much or more than the last guy, right? It is a weird way to explain it, but point is like, well, here's a good example. Whenever we go to make music, we're not going to try to make the heaviest fucking, we want to make black metal, but we're not going to make like the heaviest, because every band says they're going to be the heaviest band. It's going to be the da. It's like, you're not going to be as heavy as this or this or this, so you're therefore not going to be, you know, it's hard, hard to kind of get to that point, right? So what we want to do is make something that's just kind of unique. And I feel like because we are trapped in this small town, if you're making fucking music like AC/DC, you're heavier than everybody around or whatever, right? Like it's whatever, right? If you're into the occult and you're around here, then it's like, but you don't have to be better than everybody else. You just have to do something that's unique to you, and you don't need to compare yourself to other people that's online, right? Uh, your own spiritual path is your own thing. The music you make is going to be your own thing. It's these are the things you want to talk about, but obviously, I still want to talk about things as far as bettering yourself and trying to help out younger people escape the 9 to 5 normie life and stuff like that, because I feel like that's very important, because that frees up your time to be able to do all these things that you want to do. Because if you look at things, the majority of people who achieve this cool shit that they want to do in life, make music, become big time spiritual practitioner or whatever, right? And I say big time like to yourself and community or whatever, right? A lot of times you have to achieve this early on, because if you wait so long, you get trapped in that normie life and you're just having to take responsibility and do shit. But if you're able to set up a life where you make passive income, then you are able to dedicate your time to these things. And because maybe you're a little bit older now, you've had more time to kind of think, dwell, create, figure things out for yourself. And because that's another trap that people get into is once they get it out into the real world and you're doing like your job that is going to be presumably your career for a long time, you get stuck in that trap of this is who I am and nothing's going to change me, right? I used to fear change more than anything. Now I embrace it though. That's been a huge thing for me. And my wife had to teach me that, like, because she doesn't fear change or anything. I do. I can get very complacent, even though I have these big dreams and aspirations, but I need that driving force behind me to kind of help push me where I needed to be, right? So, we're trying to get everything set up so then we can dedicate our time to doing our passions. That's all I'm trying to say. And in a very long-winded explanation of that. But I want this channel to be a very eclectic thing where, again, we talk about, just how to better your life in all ways, whether if it's spiritually, being out in the woods, just kind of chatting about cool topics, hanging out, smoking a cigarette, doing our thing. And speaking of that, I'm going to light one more up. I'm going to end the video here in just a minute. But just doing shit like that. It all has a purpose, and I feel like it's all important. Because again, I'm not trying to necessarily make money off this or anything. I'd like to get about 50 subscribers though. That way I can go live on mobile, because the iPad is considered mobile. And I'd love to just have conversations with some other people trying to figure some stuff out. Maybe they've already got shit figured out and they can give us all advice. We kind of just, because there's not, depending on where you are and what you've got going on in life, whether if it comes to financial things, spirituality, hobbies or whatever, you can be pretty limited. And it's not a one size fits all. I've got this, my mentality is from a small town in the middle of fucking nowhere, right? So what I'm doing is not gonna fit for maybe somebody in a big city. I used to not really think about it, but it's like, if you're in a big city or something like that, you can't get out to the fucking woods. But you know what you can do? You can have access to different groups of people that can hopefully teach you some things about spirituality or whatever you're pursuing and stuff like that. You've got some help with that. You've got more of a pool of people to be able to help you along your way. Or there's going to be other things that could be beneficial to you. So, kind of went off topic, but I'm just honestly just enjoying being out here chilling and talking. So, but yeah, just to recap, key takeaways: get out in the fucking woods. It'll make you feel better. It's okay to feel bad about some shit. Don't dwell on it too long. If you can keep from it, just do what you can. That's very important. And we're all in this together, all trying to figure shit out. Heal your soul. Just do what you can. and also just kind of channel update on some stuff. What I want to talk about, where I want to go, just kind of yapping. But anyways, though, hope you guys have a great rest of your day.